Your Majesties, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for always returning. Thank you so much for your show of love. Thank you so much for all that you do for this community to keep growing. Hope you're well in all your ways, Your Majesties, and you're loving yourself and others like always. Thank you to all of you for all that you do, for supporting the channel, for giving our videos thumbs up, for sharing our videos. I see you, for your comments and everything. Thank you so, so much. It's coming from someone who ordinarily shouldn't come from one of them, and this is someone who has seen their leaders for who they are, and also knows that they are doing all this for power, for control, and all that they are doing to the continent is wrong, and they should stop doing what they do to the continent. We will listen to him and we will analyze as it goes.
So get this, I'm hearing rumours that France are preparing airstrikes against Niger in Africa. And that if they go through with these airstrikes, Germany is going to back them.
And this is it. Germany is always into the continent as well. You know the whole history that the continent had with the German people. Remember King Leopold's letter, Your Majesties, where he orders his so-called fellow compatriots, whole reverend fathers, how they should come and deceive our people. You know what they did to the Congo. You know what they have been doing.
Because Germany's got such a great record at war and invading other countries, of course. And you might think, well, why? Why are France, if these rumours are true, why are France preparing to airstrikes against Niger? Well, Niger is one of 6 countries left in Africa that still use the French franc, the CFA franc. I know, right? France doesn't even use the franc. Well, it's all part of the colonial history, of course. And France's colonial history in Africa. And if you control the money supply like this in a country, like France do, in these 6 countries, it was 8, but 2 countries have come off it recently in their coups as well. But if you control the money supply, you essentially control the country and get to do whatever you want with it. And they do. So, for instance, Niger export a lot of uranium to Europe specifically, and other resources as well. And anything that they sell abroad, France taxes 50%. 50. They steal half of the money.
Yes, Your Majesties, they steal and are always stealing. And when I say they are thieves, they come out and say, oh, do not call us all thieves. We are not all the same. But this is where your leaders live off from. The sweet life you feel you're living right now, as not being a third world country like Alkebulan, it's at the detriment of the Alkebulan people. Now, what is the effort of the citizens to talk to their leaders, their government, to stop exploiting poor, wretched Alkebulans? You heard it? They're still 50%. And then you tell me that these people do not have the right to agitate? They're still 50%. And there are people there. Oh, these countries had a president too. These countries and other countries, they are still stealing. You see, it's this one that we've known. There are others that are still hidden. By the time all the countries start agitating, you begin to hear stories that sometimes even you ask that your ears be blocked so that you don't hear the whole thing. Your Majesties.
Because it's theirs and they get to do that. I can't imagine why there's been a coup and why there keeps being coups in these countries that are on this CFA franc. Can you? I can't imagine why these countries want to come away from that and move towards Russia and China, who are saying to them, yeah, we'll deal with you on a fair and even basis and treat you like equals and we'll respect your sovereignty. I can't imagine why they would want to come away from that. But understand this, if this is true, France, and along with Germany, are threatening to do exactly what they have been condemning Russia for doing for the last 18 months. They've been pumping weapons and support into Ukraine to fight this proxy war against Russia because they say Russia is a big, bad, bigger country that invaded them and should respect their sovereignty. Well, what about Niger's sovereignty, France, Germany. Do they not matter? Or is it just the white Europeans that matter?
It has always been like that. It's only the life of the Europeans that matters. Any other person does not matter. And that is why they do what they do, Your Majesties.
Psychopathic maniacs, a lot of them. Consider the history of Africa and these African countries. Consider it from their point of view. They've had centuries of countries like France, like the UK, like America, stealing their wealth and their resources and then condemning the country for being poor and backward. Oh, it's a poor country. You're stealing all its wealth, that's why. Not just its wealth, but its people too. You stole its people for hundreds of years ago and were selling them into the slave trade. So you've not just stolen their wealth and their people.
And this is what I keep saying. They don't just steal our wealth, Your Majesties. They steal our people. They give them reason why Africa cannot be a place where they can make it. No, you can't stay in Africa and make it. You are so talented that Africa will not cherish you. You have to come to the rest of the West. We can cherish you better. We can take care of you better. We can give you a future that is brighter than what you have here. Your children's children will be protected. These are the things they say to our people and they take them away. That is stealing. Because you talk down of the other person and you so that you can have advantage. These are what they do. They keep stealing. They keep stealing. They keep stealing because they are thieves.
And then have the gall to say, oh, they're poor countries. They're not poor. Got plenty of uranium in Niger. It's only poor because France is stealing half of its stuff. We've been assassinating any leaders in Africa that want to come away from the colonial rule.
This is important. You heard? They have been killing leaders who want to come away from colonial rule. This is what they do. Remember Muammar Gaddafi? All right? Remember this one of Burkina Faso? There are lots of other leaders that rose. All right? Congo, Chad, Burkina Faso, Ghana. There are lots of them as well in Nigeria. Other countries, you can name them. There have been lots of leaders in the past who wanted to pull out their countries from colonial rule. What did they do? They organized coup leaders to assassinate them. This is what they do. And that is why you see the difference between this coup and the coup in the past. I keep saying it. They've escorted the leader, the former leader of Niger, out and handed it over to someone else. If it was before, they sentence the person. They do what? They finish the person. And who gave the order? The West does give the order. And that's why you see, we turn against each other. Brothers turn against brother. By the order of the West, do this, then do it, because we were still controlled. But today, we are off that hook. All right? They say everything that has a beginning has an end. This is the end of colonial rule and imperialism in Al-Kabul, Your Majesties.
And now they're threatening to bomb, they're threatening airstrikes on Niger because they want to come away from that system. I can't imagine what it must be like for Africans to know the history as they do and have lived for hundreds of years under the boot of colonialism like this. And then after having hundreds of years of their wealth being stolen and their people being stolen and sold into the slave trade and their leaders being assassinated whenever they wanted to come away from colonial rule, I can't imagine what it must feel like for them to now listen to our leaders threaten war and at the same time say, oh, by the way, you've got to treat your gays better in Africa because that's human rights now. I can't imagine what it's like for them listening to our leaders say these things to them and act this way. It's criminal. And it's criminal that we in these Western countries of allowing our leaders to get away with it in our name. They're psychopathic maniacs. Don't you agree? Let me know what you think about this in the comments below.
Oh my goodness, the way you emphasize, they're psychopathic maniac. They are more than that. They are more than that. Because they are worse than psychopaths. Anyway, what do you think, Your Majesties? Leave your comments and thought there in the section. And I will see you in my next one. Until then, love yourself, love others, stay safe, stay positive. Always, Your Majesties, always. Bye for now.